This week on Second Edition, budget cuts hit NAIT. We'll look at how staff and students are affected.
And you may survive the cuts.
Plus, the coronavirus affects everything, including fashion.
Sure that it's not coming from China and that it's coming from different places.
And in sports, what is it like transferring from Ooks hockey to pro?
If you want to go play pro hockey afterwards, you can go do that.
Hello and welcome to Second Edition News. The UCP government has released plans for its provincial budget, with post-secondary schools taking a considerable hit.
The UCP will cut advanced education by 6% for the coming year. Tate Laycraft has the story on how these cuts will affect NAIT.
You may survive the cuts, and it could be the next year that you're cut.
Optimism isn't exactly high at NAIT. The school has announced that it will slash up to 240 jobs over the coming months, leaving staff uncertain about their careers. According to the budget document, the UCP hopes that these reductions will encourage schools to be more efficient. Carrie Mikatuk, a pipe-fitting teacher for the last 16 years at NAIT, sees it as an excuse.
We already run efficient. We already have a lot of people in place that are in place for the student success.
Not only do the cuts affect jobs, but also school programs. Just last week, the University of Alberta's Augustana campus was hit with shocking news.
Varsity hockey team, the Augustana Vikings, are facing a $145,000 cut. If enough funds aren't raised, this could be their last season. NAIT's athletic manager, Jordan Ritchie, says he sees the cuts as a wake-up call.
It's an eye-opener that as a conference we may have to look at reducing costs to make sure that this doesn't happen to any other institutions.
Among other impacts are student tuition increases. Canadian students will see an increase of 7% next year, while international students will see an increase of 10%. International student Gigi Yang says there's little she can do to make up for the cuts.
My study permit doesn't allow me to work here.
With 2 years of budget cuts that lie ahead, there are even more changes coming to NAIT. Still, the question remains, what will these changes include? Tate Laycraft, Second Edition News.
With coronavirus now in Alberta, many businesses are feeling its effects, including the fashion industry of Edmonton. COVID-19, more commonly known as the coronavirus, is infecting more and more people every day and has had an effect on the economy. The fashion industry of Edmonton is feeling these effects as the virus has slowed exports of materials from China. This has left local designers scrambling to find a new supplier.
Make sure that it's not coming from China and that it's coming from different places, which is going to give a lot of local designers an opportunity for them to even push a little further too, because they also sometimes source their fabrics, buttons, zippers from there. So we're all going to have to come together and really find somewhere new.
Gaspard says they don't export their products and carry local Edmonton designers' pieces. She sees this as an opportunity to localize the fashion industry. Local designers will be sourcing resources for their clothing designs a little closer to home.
All Planet Organic stores are shutting their doors for good. Planet Organic has closed down all 11 of their stores after problems faced with paying suppliers and problems getting in stock. Planet Organic had lots of vegan, gluten-free, and organic stock, making them different from most other grocery stores. A NAIT business instructor says he's not surprised with the closure because the grocery industry is always growing and evolving.
We've had especially Save-On and some other effects like, Safeway, Costco and stuff get into more of the organic aspect at a much cheaper price. And I think over time that's just really been hitting them.
Slanina says with the current Alberta economy, he feels smaller, locally owned businesses may struggle to keep their doors open.
Last October, Edmonton City Council made the decision to stop using calcium chloride on the roads for the 2020 winter season. Calcium chloride is an anti-icing agent that aids in keeping roads clear during the winter. This way of clearing roads is quite controversial. The chemical is not good for the environment, but quickens the melt time of icy roads. There are reports that prolonged use of the chemical also damages roads and vehicles.
I think it's just damaging to everything. It's not good for the roads, it's not good for the cars.
The city of Edmonton is currently using a mix of sand, salt, and graders to combat the icy roads, and has made no comment if the icing agent will be used again.
International Women's Day was on Sunday, and the Aviation Museum had something special planned. The Aviation Museum celebrated International Women's Day and Women in Aviation Week by hosting this event. They had a scavenger hunt, simulators, and a career fair.
The Women of Aviation Worldwide Week, which is an international initiative, it coincides with International Women's Day tomorrow, that's been going on at the museum for 7 years, and the organization tries to get more women involved in aviation.
At this event, they also made an attempt to break the Guinness World Record for most pictures of people with pink paper airplanes to add a little pink to aviation.
The City of Edmonton also celebrated International Women's Day on Sunday in honor of all women in Edmonton. City of Edmonton's Women's Initiative and the Women's Advocacy Voice of Edmonton Committee teamed up to hold this event in celebration. Hundreds of guests and speakers gathered to hear inspiring stories, music, and speeches.
We all know the challenges that women face, and we can't give up until every woman has the chance to live her full potential without the obstacles in her way. Future generations are counting on us. We must keep at it.
The Women's Advocacy Committee aims to increase leadership roles for women, ensure equal rights are upheld, and inspire girls in Edmonton to create art, engage in politics, and offers mentorship opportunities.
Grad season is quickly approaching, and the Sherwood Park Elks are doing everything they can to make it easier for people in search of a dress or suit. Gowns for Grads has a room full of dresses, suits, and shoes for grads, dates, or anyone else in need of formal wear for free. It is available to anyone, no matter what your circumstances are.
The one thing we don't ask for any information from them. We'll ask them where they hear about it, but as for their income or the part of the country that they live in, we don't ask that.
This event began 5 years ago and has gained a lot of momentum. There are now over 4 locations over Canada. Gowns for Grads is open March 14th and 15th.
The men's basketball team made us proud this year.
Yes, they really did. They refused to give up, win or lose.
And the women's hockey team is really clawing and fighting to stay alive.
They're in a serious nail-biter right now for the championship. The women's hockey team are in a high-intensity, nerve-wracking championship series. Here are the highlights to Game 2. Nate is looking to tie the series after being down 1-0 against McEwen. After a very slow first period that was evenly matched, the Griffins struck first. Shortly into the second period, they scored a goal that rebounded off the Nate goalie. Nate comes up with a strong counterattack with several shots at the Griffins goalie, but missed just slightly. Number 11, Livia Lukova, had a very controversial no-goal that was hard to see. After minutes of refs deliberating, they officially decide that the puck was kept out. Nate continues to fight and fire shots, but McEwen stays strong and adds onto their lead, with a final score of 3-0 and now a 2-0 series lead.
But I feel like it is what it is. Now we just have to step it up. We still have 3 games to go, and yeah.
The women's hockey team lost 3-0 on the weekend, but are hoping to claw back and win the 5-game series, starting with Game 3 tomorrow. This dream season for the Nate badminton team could not have ended any better. The Nate Ooks badminton season comes to a picture-perfect ending. After winning an ACAC Conference Championship, star players Iota and Alex took home a mixed doubles gold medal.
Management, because especially juggling badminton along with school and then also part-time work is a lot of stress, but it takes a lot of time management and self-control.
It's really easy to play with Iota because she's so good. It's just I just let her do her thing in the front. Usually she controls the game pretty well at the net, so I just have to follow her around, mostly cheer and toss the bird in.
Iota and Alex are excited to return next year and hopefully have another national championship run. The men's basketball team showed heart and spirit throughout the entire season. The Nate men's basketball team had a very respectable run this year. They were able to defeat the number 2 ranked team in the country, with star players like Sean Michael Clancy consistently performing for the Ooks.
Overall, I think it was a pretty successful year for us. Obviously, we'd like to win the conference championship and be heading to nationals right now, but the way the season wrapped up, I think It was okay. We won a big game in the quarterfinal.
Opportunity to play here in Canada for my first year back was an amazing experience in itself. And then just individually, my success this season, like pretty much what I did.
The men's basketball team hopes to achieve that championship gold next season. One NAIT women's basketball player defied the odds all season, and here's her story. The NAIT women's basketball team had a great run this season that came to an end, a season that was very special, especially to Sydney Hurlburt, a fifth-year senior who holds many achievements for the team. Sydney holds the record for the most games played ever. She also holds the record for the most threes for NAIT women's basketball. She capped it off this year by being selected into the first all-conference team.
The accomplishments kind of relate to how well the athletics department is here. It's something that I've been working towards for 5 years. I mean, playing here for that long.
Even though her season has come to an end, Sydney plans on coaching and leading a team of her own to break records. A new record holder at NAIT is doing his best at making that good impression as he prepares for European hockey next year. Tyler Smith with Second Edition Sports reports.
NAIT men's hockey forward Jake McKittiuk has set the record for the most career all-time points by a NAIT player with an outstanding 161 points in 111 games.
Well, it's been great. I mean, over the past few years, we've built a really good relationship on and off the ice. He's a good guy in the dressing room. Like, everyone likes him, and no, he's a good guy to have in your team. Really good hockey player too.
Yeah, I mean, I think gradually throughout the 4 years, just been able to mature, be it through school and hockey, and he's helped definitely quite a bit. Him, Sean Bell, Scott Fellmeyer, all the coaches they've helped a lot in preparing me for that.
Although Jake is known for his point totals, he is not shy of the penalty box either, with 193 career penalty minutes.
From the penalty box to the classroom, playing at NAIT is the perfect place to start your future.
You have the connections from, I know in the past we've had assistant coaches like Mike Ebinet, who played in the AHL and over in Europe. And now they also have a reputation of, if you want to go play pro hockey afterwards, you can go do that.
And because I've known him for long enough, is that at our level he's been really pegged as a scorer, but I think he does a lot of other things. Because at the professional level, I'm not sure he's going to get the chance right away to play in that offensive role.
Obviously we have playoffs and whatnot right now, so that's the main focus.
With Europe on his mind, Jake and his teammates are still looking to capture its first championship since 2016, with semifinals kicking off tonight against SAIT.
Wow, looks like Ook sports teams had a great season.
Yes, they really did. They showed what it means to be an Ook athlete.
Must have took a lot of hard work to finish the seasons the way they did.
Yes, it does. It takes a lot of heart and dedication.
That's been your look at Second Edition News for the week.
Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.